The problem that's happening for so many of us is we are jumping from one stressful thing to the next stressful thing to the next stressful thing all day long.
You're listening to Overwhelmed Working Woman, the podcast that helps you be more calm and more productive by doing less. I'm your host, Michelle Gauthier, a former overwhelmed working woman and current life coach. On this show, we unpack the stress and pressure that today's working woman experiences. And in each episode, you'll get a strategy to bring more calm, ease, and relaxation to your life.
Hi, friend. Welcome back. Thanks for joining. Today, I have a very interesting guest for us. Her name is Molly McNamee, and she's a health coach who specializes in helping overwhelmed women like us manage stress and regulate our hormones and feel good in our own bodies. So if you've ever felt like you're kind of doing everything right, I've definitely had this thought that I'm eating right, I'm working out, but still not getting the results you want. This is a great episode for you. Molly breaks down what's actually happening in your body when you're constantly in go mode and how you can calm it down without overhauling your entire life. When you listen today, you'll learn what cortisol really is and why it might be the reason you feel exhausted or anxious or stuck, how to lower stress hormones in just a few minutes a day, and why doing less might be the key to getting better results with your body and your energy and your mood. Today's episode is sponsored by Cozy Earth. We are getting to Mother's Day season, and you know that I always advocate for you guys to ask for what you want on Mother's Day, how you want to spend your time, and what kind of gifts you'd like to have. It's the perfect time to think about the Cozy Earth robe. I got this for my mom for Mother's Day, and I already gave it to her. I couldn't wait to give it to her, and she absolutely loved it. I've mentioned before that I'm a huge pajama person, and I got it from my mama, and so she appreciates pajamas and robes and things that are super comfortable. And she texted me this morning and said, I'm wearing my new robe and it's amazing. And it's the best robe I've ever had. It really is. It's soft. It's the perfect weight. It's amazing. I also splurged and got her the slippers that match. And she said those are like walking on a cloud. So if you are looking for something to ask for Mother's Day, or you want to buy a Mother's Day gift for your mom or your sister, I also sent one to my sister. Hopefully she doesn't hear this before it arrives. Then consider the Cozy Earth robe and slippers. They are amazing. And as always, because they are our sponsor, if you use our code OWW for Overwhelmed Working Woman, you will get 20% off and you will make someone very happy. And maybe that someone's yourself. Okay, let's get into the episode. Thank you so much, Molly, for being here today. I'm really excited for you to teach us all the things. But before we do, tell us a little bit about your own story. How did you get to become a health coach and focused on cortisol and helping people lose weight?
Yeah, so I've been working in the fitness industry for about 15 years now. So that has been my life for a long time, but I really transitioned into helping people with chronic stress and hormonal imbalances about 5 years ago. And that's because of my own journey with those issues. I was doing all the right things. I was exercising a lot, eating really healthy, but I was feeling really drained, really tired. I was gaining weight and I was feeling really anxious and overwhelmed, and I didn't know what was going on. And that's when I really dove into stress and hormones, and I put all of the puzzle pieces together and I was like, oh wow, this is life changing when you really understand how your body is working internally. It changed everything for me, and then I just completely switched up how I work with my clients, and now I help people navigate those things, those hormones, that stress, their nervous system, because all of that is just as important as how you're eating and how you're moving.
That's so interesting and important to know, I think, because we all know like stress is bad, overwhelm is bad for us. I'm using air quotes, but no one can see them except for Molly. But why and like how does that exactly impact us? I'm excited to learn about that. When you went through all of that and you came out on the other side and cracked the code, what was the difference in how your body felt, how your brain felt? What were the results that you got?
When I was really going through it, and by that, lots of hormonal imbalances, lots of stress, I just felt tired all of the time. And it felt like I was trying to push through that at all times. And it also felt, even though I was exercising really hard, I wasn't getting stronger. I was actually getting weaker. I wasn't losing weight. I was actually gaining weight. And then once I got over that and I started really moving and living in a way that aligned with my body, I just felt awake again. I was like, wow, I can actually exhale. And I feel like I'm making progress and I feel energized energized and happy, where I didn't even realize how unhappy I was for so long when I was dealing with all of those imbalances. And then once I overcame that, it was like an aha moment of I didn't realize it got that bad because I feel so good now.
Yes. Okay, that's great. First of all, yay for you, and yay for you for sharing that with other people too. Not only did you solve your own problem, but now you help other people solve theirs. That's fantastic. I think the most frustrating thing is when you're doing all the right things, like when you're working out and you're eating mostly well and your body's doing something different than it has ever done before. And then I think that affects everything. When you're trying so hard and nothing's working, and then it just makes you feel tired and all that stuff. I also think, and I want to hear your tips on this, that it's enough to try to eat healthy and work out. And so the thought of what else do we have to add in there in order to get our body to its maximum potential? It's one more thing that we have to do. So, what are all the secrets that you know that we overwhelmed working women can do?
So many women that I work with are coming to me being like, I'm doing everything right, at least I think I am, but I just feel horrible. And that's seeping into other areas of their life. Like they have these weight loss goals, they have these fitness goals, but they're also struggling to show up at work, struggling to show up in relationships, just feeling consumed by feeling really bad. And that's what we're working on overcoming, right? So, the very first thing I say to these people is we talk about stress a lot in my work and in my community. But I always tell the clients that I work with, it's not about removing stress from your life, it's figuring out how to manage that stress better. And that is where most of us, including myself, are falling short. We're letting that stress consume us. And then that stress makes it really hard to see results in all of the things that you're trying. And that is going off of what you said. You're doing enough. You don't have to do more. And that is true, but you have to deal with that stress piece because if you're working out really hard, but your body is stressed, it's not going to let you progress. If you're eating really healthy, but your body is stressed, you're not going to be able to be in a calorie deficit because your body's clinging on to everything that it possibly needs. To put puzzle pieces together for your listeners, the way stress really impacts your body, first of all, if your body is really stressed, your cortisol, which is what you talked about earlier, can get high. And cortisol is just one of your body's stress hormones. And when that stress hormone is high, your blood sugar can also be high. And that can lead to some insulin resistance. So that's already a problem for a lot of people. And then also what's happening when your body is stressed is your body stays stuck in fight or flight. And when that happens, it starts to slow down your metabolism so that it can conserve energy because your body thinks a threat is nearby. So it needs to hold on to everything it possibly can. So you're not going to be burning as many calories as you normally are. It's also
Okay.
very tough to build muscle when your body is dealing with chronic stress. And that combination of things, that insulin resistance, that slower metabolism, that inability to build muscle is just a recipe for disaster for someone who is trying to lose weight. So if you are someone who feels like you're doing everything right, but your body's just working against you, it's because it literally is right now. If you're dealing
Okay.
with chronic stress, your body is just going to say, no, we can't progress because we need to sort this out. So stress is always pretty much the first conversation I have with the clients that I'm working with, and it's figuring out how to navigate that stress a bit better in their body.
Okay, makes sense. I want to back up and ask you, why is insulin resistance? What does that mean and why is that bad?
Insulin resistance is something you hear often in the conversation with type 2 diabetes because it means your body's not processing things the way that it is meant to. So your body is going to start to hold onto fat, especially around your tummy. You're going to start to experience those blood sugar spikes and crashes throughout your day. Your energy is probably going to be off because of that. And that's just going to make it incredibly difficult for you to actually lose weight and lose body fat. So it's one of those kind of scientific terms, if you will, but I feel like the term that people recognize more is diabetes. And if you are experiencing that insulin resistance, it can lead to that.
As you're describing someone who's working out so hard and trying to eat perfectly, and I'm guessing probably has a stressful job and potentially is a mom or whatever else, whatever other stressors, I literally was picturing someone just like holding on as tight as possible and just like gunning their way through life, trying to do everything. And so when you said your body really is like holding on to stuff, that's how I feel. The whole thing just makes me feel like I'm in a pressure cooker just thinking about it. So, how do they let go of any of that?
I am all about baby steps. A lot of times when we want to feel better or improve on something, we think we need to do a lot of things. But I am all about just doing one thing really well and then gradually building on that. So if you are trying to de stress, I actually don't advise you to remove stress from your life. I just encourage people to take little pauses throughout their day to help regulate their nervous system. The problem that's happening for so many of us is we are jumping from one stressful thing to the next stressful thing to the next stressful thing all day long. And when that happens, your body gets stuck in that high stress state. And what we need to do is give your body some time to rest and reset and tap into that parasympathetic state, which helps you actually calm down. So, one of the first ways I encourage people to start approaching their stress is by taking really strategic breaks throughout their day. Maybe if you exercise, that just looks like instead of ending your workout and hopping right into the next thing on your to do list, you just lie down and breathe for a couple of minutes. Maybe after you get to your appointment, after sitting in rush hour traffic, instead of instantly slamming your door and running out, you just pause and close your eyes for 10 seconds. Taking moments in your day to just pause and allow your body to rest can be so powerful. Because I think a lot of us think, oh, I need to just get some stuff off of my plate, or I need to wait until things calm down and then I can start to work on my self-care, my mental health, my physical health. But what you really need to do is start training your nervous system to calm down through the chaos. So again, that can be as simple as closing your eyes for 10 seconds, taking 3 deep breaths, fixing your posture in between calls, just finding little pockets in your day when you can help your body calm down.
Love that. And one of the things I talk to my clients about with regards to stress is just noticing when your body feels stressed. Because sometimes when you get stuck in that, it's like the treadmill of stress and you're just constantly on it. And if you can just even notice, oh, wow, I just felt really like my jaw was really tight. Or when I took a deep breath, I noticed I was holding my stomach or whatever it is. I think just even acknowledging it. I have this aura ring. Do you wear one of these rings?
I don't, but I have
Okay.
many clients who do.
Yeah, and it shows you throughout the day your stress level based on your heart rate, I'm sure. And it's so fascinating to me now because I have learned to like really tune in and to be able to calm myself down in the ways that you've talked about. But I can see if I flip back through my day, and you and I started our interview about 20 minutes ago, and I was running late and my podcast microphone wasn't plugged in, and it was like a little bit of a flurry there for a minute, and I can almost guarantee you that I will see that on my daily stress. And so just knowing, okay, I'm in that stress state, but now I want to interview someone, so I want to just calm myself down, and to have that skill, it just makes the day so much nicer because
It
it's not, you can't avoid stress for the most part, but I think you can. I'm just endorsing your baby steps, even just noticing it approach.
And it's interesting with the Aura rings and all of the other trackers people are using. I have had many conversations with people who said I didn't even realize that I was stressed until this ring told me that I was. And
Yes.
I feel like that is the case for a lot of people. We're very aware of stress, like in a vague sense, where it's, oh, I had an argument and now I'm stressed, or something frustrating happened with my podcast setup and I felt stressed. We're familiar with that, but we are less familiar with that chronic stress that our body may be feeling by attempting to de-stress anyway. You may be like, oh, I didn't realize I was so tense, but now I noticed that, so it's a good thing that I'm starting to build. It's really
Yeah, exactly. Even with no kind of tracking at all, think I could do it now. I could do it on my own because I've gotten used to it. Okay, I love that. So step 1, baby steps to de-stress. How long does it take if I get in the habit of learning to calm my own body? How do I know when I've come out of that fight or flight? And then how long does it take for our body to be like, okay, now we can relax?
That's a great question. And I have a 2-part answer to that, depending on which direction you want to choose to go. For one, I'm a big advocate for tracking your symptoms just in life, tracking your energy, tracking your mood, tracking your anxiety. And if you do keep track of those things, you will likely notice those things shifting over the course of a few weeks or a couple of months once you start really paying attention to your nervous system and your stress. But if you don't track those things, you may just suddenly be aware of, oh, I'm sleeping a bit better, or
Mhm.
oh, I'm not as busy during my day. You may just notice some little shifts, but if you're tracking, you can absolutely see those shifts. But as far as timeline goes, I have this 2-week stress reset on my website, and people do go through it and say they notice a shift in their energy in those 2 weeks, or at least like after 4 weeks of following that protocol, they say they feel significantly different. So it doesn't take an extremely long amount of time to start feeling different and feeling different in your energy. And what's really amazing and what I see with the clients that I work with is you start to feel those shifts in your energy. And then once you feel those shifts, your real goals can start to become more possible. So if you're trying to lose weight, you feel a shift in your energy and then your body's a bit more primed for that weight loss. If you're trying to get a promotion at work, you feel a shift in energy and then you can start working a bit more aggressively at work and feel more confident doing it.
I
And
love that.
yeah.
Okay, so if people are interested in doing that 2-week reset that you have on your website, how long each day are they working on something? What's the time commitment?
It's really simple and it is my baby step strategy. Within that reset, I give you like a couple of habits to build. And for the first week, it's extremely simple. The second week, we just build on those habits slightly, and they're like at most a minute in your day. And you
Okay.
also get workouts to do, and they're at most 20 minutes, but they're really aligned with your energy. So they're all like different playlists. Are you tired today? Do this. Are you energized today? Do this. Are you anxious today? Do this. So it's really just teaching you how to move and how to build habits that align with your energy and your stress a bit better. But as far as total time commitment, it's a minute a day and then the couple of days that you exercise, at most 20.
Okay, that sounds very doable. Even to a
Yeah.
stressed out person, they could do that.
I approach things like that as being not a large time commitment because, like you, I work with a lot of overwhelmed people. And my approach to people who are feeling overwhelmed by health and self care is, can we make it extremely simple for you to get a quick win? So that's what that attempts to be for people.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a great idea. Okay, so if people either do that 2-week stress reduction or they're following some of the other tips that you've given and they start feeling less stress and they feel that change in their energy, it sounds like it will allow them to gain muscle, lose weight. What are some of the other benefits that you see in your clients that are non-scale victories, as they call them at my gym?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Things like your productivity is going to increase, that brain fog is going to decrease. So, those things that really directly affect probably your working brain will improve. And I notice that with myself. If I notice I'm feeling really tired in my workday and really unfocused, I know that something is up with my nervous system and I need to regulate a bit. And when I do, those things improve. Also, still physical-ish thing, but not. If you're having like really sensitive skin, that may start to improve. If you've been like breaking out a lot or feeling really itchy, those things can get better. Your sleep is going to improve. Your mood just as a whole is going to improve. If you've been feeling pretty negative, for people that I work with, they start to see that shift, not feeling so negative all of the time. So really, so many aspects of your life can improve, which also on the flip side, if you are dealing with chronic stress and you are dealing with stress hormone imbalances, that can also negatively impact so many areas of your life. It can really go both ways there. The people that I am working with usually come to me complaining about not being able to lose weight, but then after a deeper conversation, they're revealing, oh, I've been feeling pretty anxious. I've been having panic attacks. I've been feeling unfocused at work. And then working on these things can improve all of those things.
Okay, that's so great because I think at the beginning of the conversation, if somebody's just tuning in and they hear you've got to get your cortisol down, you've got to get your hormones in order, you've got to do all these things, but really the prescription for that is just tiny ways to make your body feel more relaxed, and that enables it. So I think that's a really hopeful message. Like, it's possible to do it.
I'm glad that it sounds hopeful because that is always my goal. And I know there is so much overwhelming information online about stress and hormones and how they impact every part of you. But this approach can really hopefully make it digestible for people. And also, your hormones like that gentle approach. They don't like to be swamped and overwhelmed, which is what gets people into these problems in the first place.
Yeah.
So the response to feeling overwhelmed is not to overwhelm it with a different stimuli.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Even though me, overachiever type, and when something isn't working, I'm like, I just need to try harder. I need to do more. And sometimes it's like, you just need to do less.
You
Yes.
need to
Which
you need to
leads me
simplify.
perfectly into our two questions that I ask everybody. So tell us, what is something that you do when you feel overwhelmed to make yourself feel better?
So I have two answers to this, and one really focuses like on my coaching protocol, and that is to simplify things. So whatever is overwhelming me, I think, okay, how can I break this down to make it easier and more digestible for me? And it's the same if I'm working with someone and they say, I'm overwhelmed with trying to exercise. I'm like, okay, how can we make it simpler for you to do this more easily? But the practical thing that I do is I move my body. If I'm feeling
Mhm.
overwhelmed, I instantly go to movement. And right now, I'm really enjoying walks. So I get outside and I go for a walk when I'm feeling overwhelmed. And usually, what happens is I'm walking for 5 minutes, clearing my mind. And then the next 30 minutes are a productivity walk where I'm like, okay, I feel clear headed now. And I actually get tons of work done, and everything that was overwhelming me, I'm able to sort out while moving my body. Movement is so healing to me. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, exhausted mentally, then I know that I need to turn my brain off for a second. It's rebooting your computer. It's what I do. I turn off my brain, I
Yeah.
turn on my body, and then everything starts working together again.
Yes, yes. Okay, perfect. I love that. And then what is something that you do consistently to do less or save time?
Honestly, it's in planning my weekly schedule. I used to be like a huge to-do list person where I would have the longest, always adding on to it to-do list, and that would just slow me down, to be honest. So now I take 10 minutes every Friday to outline the major tasks I need to do each day for the week ahead. So I'm like, okay, on Monday, I know I need to get these two things done. And I leave it flexible because I don't love hard and fast. Oh, I have to do this exactly at 1:15 and it has to be done by 1:45. That kind of stresses me out. So I'm like, I need to do these couple of tasks on these 2 days, and that just keeps me on track. When I used to have that long to-do list, I feel like I had a lot of decision fatigue where I'd be sitting there staring at my to-do list, being like, okay, what am I going to start with first? And then I would feel overwhelmed
Yep.
and nothing would get done. So now I basically tell myself, you need to do these things on this day. And that has saved me a lot of time, no longer experiencing that decision fatigue, that overwhelm. And if it didn't make it to my list of things I need to do, then it's not important.
Yes, that I don't have to do it. I love it. I feel like there are a couple gems in there about knowing yourself. For example, I always try to help people figure out what percentage of structure they like in their life. And you're not 100%er. If you don't want to do it from 1:15 to 1:45, sounds like you're more of a 75. Like I know the day it needs to be on, but I don't know. I don't have to schedule the exact time. So I think coming up with a schedule that works for you. And I interviewed this time management expert Kelly Nolan. It's one of the old episodes. I can't remember the number, but we'll link it in the show notes. And she does planning on Fridays and she does 2 weeks at a time and she spends 2 hours. And that's how she does it. I do it on Sundays and I spend about 30 minutes. So whatever works for you. But I think the concept is the same, just in that you're taking away the decisions of the everyday because you already know what's happening and you already know ballpark what you have to do. That's a great suggestion.
And I also think you can easily do that with your self-care as well, because I think a lot of people struggle to then fit in their self-care to their busy routine, but you could just be like, okay, I'm going to do these couple of habits on these days as well. Just planning ahead can, like you said, really clear up a lot of mind space and make
Yes,
the
yeah,
less
and then it's just like you're pressing play and following your own directions instead of refiguring out everything all the time. I
it's
love
been a
it.
game changer for me. The to-do list needed to go.
Yeah, good, good for you. Okay, so tell us where we can get the 2-week stress reduction plan. Is that what it's called?
I have a couple of things that people may want to check out after hearing this conversation. If you are resonating with this, my 2-week stress and hormone reset is what it's called, is on my website. And you can get that at my website, mollymcnamee.com/reset. But if you are interested in learning a bit more about your stress hormones and figuring out how to navigate your lifestyle around them, I also have a free ebook that I would love to give your listeners. And it really just educates you on what your stress hormones are and what they do, what habits to do daily to support them, and how to adjust your workouts if you're feeling a bit more stressed, and how to support your body a bit more in that way. So if you're interested in that, it's again my website, mollymcnamee.com. cortisol. So you can get either of those things on my website, and they're going to be good next steps from this conversation. If you're like, hey, yeah, stress is impacting me in a big way. What do I do about it? Those things can be really helpful for you. And I also, just anyone wants to have a further conversation about this, I am always down to talk to people one-on-one or in a community. So come chat with me. I'm
and
always
is that
here.
on your website too, if they want to set up a conversation with you?
Yeah, if you want to hop on a free strategy call, you can get that on my website, which is, again, my website /call me. But probably actually the easiest place for your listeners to go to is just going to be /links. It has all of those links for you.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. I'll put those all in the show notes and then they can easily just click on them and find them that way.
Absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. This has been a fun conversation. I think I need your ebook.
Yeah, go grab it.
Although now I'm much more educated than I was before this call started. So thank you.
You are welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Overwhelmed Working Woman podcast. If you want to learn more about my work, head over to my website at michellegothier.com. See you next week.